Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Jessica Devereaux in Baltimore. On Thursday, the Senate Armed Services Committee heard the testimony of Henry Kissinger. He served as the National Security Advisor and later concurrently as Secretary of State in the administrations of Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. But during his visit on Capitol Hill, protesters from the anti-war group CODEPINK made sure their voices were heard and called for Kissinger's arrest.
Arrest Henry Kissinger for war crimes!
Could I...
Arrest Henry Kissinger for war crimes!
You know, you're going to have to shut up or I'm going to have you arrested. If we can't get the Capitol Hill police in here immediately, get out of here, you low-life scum.
Some not very kind words from Senator McCain to CODEPINK protesters. Now joining us is one of those protesters, CODEPINK Co-Founder Medea Benjamin. Thanks for joining us, Medea.
Hey, Jessica, thanks for having me on.
So, Medea, why were you guys actually calling for Kissinger's arrest, and what about his record points to that?
We had a warrant for his arrest that we tried to read out that outlined some of the reasons we think he should be arrested, Jessica. And that went from talking about his role in overthrowing the democratically elected government of Salvador Allende in Chile, to his role in continuing the war and the secretive bombing in Cambodia, the war in Vietnam, the use of Agent Orange in Vietnam. We talked about his role in giving the green light for the Indonesian government to invade the island of East Timor and how that led to wiping out 1/3 of the population there. And those were some of the things that we were trying to read out and some of the reasons that we think that Henry Kissinger should certainly not be allowed to testify before Congress and should instead be tried at The Hague.
Have there been any real efforts to actually get him tried at The Hague?
Well, yes, there have. There have been summons that have presented to him, for example, in Paris, where a judge wanted to bring him in for questioning, and he fled the country. There have been lawsuits in Spain, in Argentina, and even a civil suit here in Washington, D.C. So, yes, there have been attempts, unsuccessful so far, but we thought it was appropriate to at least wave a pair of plastic handcuffs in front of his face to say that we remember, and we really do believe that in democratic countries like ours, there is something called accountability, and officials should be held accountable for their actions.
And what do you make of Senator McCain's comments? He called you guys low-life scum. Do you have a response for that?
Well, I thought that was pretty undiplomatic of somebody who's supposed to be a politician, but McCain is actually not very good at holding his anger. We have to thank him for it because it was thanks to his reaction that we got so much publicity for this. Otherwise, it would have just been one more CODEPINK protest that very few people would have heard about.
All right, Medea Benjamin, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.